Rajdeep, is anyone speaking to Sachin at all? Does he have any ongoing dialogue with key people in the Congress? This poor guy is fasting, and you've got Sukhjinder Randhawa wanting to serve him notice, and Sachin can argue that those people who rebelled against the Congress High Command's order to come to Gehlot's house when Kharge, Ajay Makan and the others were in Jaipur, you haven't acted against them. How dare you act against me?
Look, the truth is, sources close to Sachin Pilot say that for the last 3 months, he's been seeking an appointment with Rahul Gandhi, hasn't got one. For the last fortnight or so, has been seeking an appointment with Sonia Gandhi, hasn't got one. Has spoken, we are told, a couple of times on the phone to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. But clearly, you know, this issue continues to fester. The real problem, Rahul, is that this has been festering for 5 years. And what has the Congress leadership done to resolve this? I think Tehseen Poonawalla makes a good point. You've got to build bridges, not burn them. Whatever the deal between whatever the acrimony that exists between Mr. Gehlot and Mr. Pilot, it's your job to resolve it. You can't go with this one step forward, 2 steps back approach, which has led to this, constant instability in Rajasthan. And that really is the problem. The Congress has hemorrhaged as a result. So I don't think there's been any communication of any sorts with Sachin Pilot. Mallikarjun Kharge also has not communicated to him. Instead, he's got this anti-party activity notice 2 days ago, and his supporters are arguing that when Mr. Gehlot attacked Mr. Pilot publicly, was that not anti-party? So I think there's a lot of bad blood, a lot of mistrust. I think Sachin Pilot also needs to recognize that the majority of the MLAs are with Ashok Gehlot even today, and Ashok Gehlot's camp needs to recognize that Sachin Pilot has an intrinsic value as a much younger leader. So I think the inability to resolve this faction fighting is because you've got such a weak Congress High Command, which seems preoccupied with every other issue but actually doing the damage limitation. K.C. Venugopal, who's now emerged as one of the main decision makers in the Congress, is actually an MP from Rajasthan. Why hasn't he got himself involved? Mallikarjun Kharge was the observer in October. Why hasn't he got himself involved? Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was deeply involved in Punjab. Why hasn't she got herself involved?
Because nobody knows how to resolve the situation. Nobody is able to present a workable formulation.
No, have they even attempted it? Has there been a serious attempt, consistent attempt, Rahul, to find a solution? I think this is an HR disaster. You see, the Congress's biggest problem is there is no one to handle the day-to-day political management. This is political management. Handling factions, bringing people together is part of politics. You're not able to do it. And that, let me just say this in slight defense of the Congress, Rahul. When you're in power in Delhi, as the BJP is, it's very easy to, to distribute the loaves and fishes of power. And therefore, the faction fighting that we saw in the BJP when it was in the opposition, perhaps is easily resolved today. In the past, the BJP had similar problems. But today, when you're in the opposition, it's very difficult to resolve these faction fights, but you've got to invest in them. I think the big point, and my final point is the Congress clear? Do they want to invest in Sachin Pilot for the future or not? Or do they believe that if Mr. Pilot wants to leave, he should leave? The party high command believes log aate hain, jate hain, ye chalta hai. If that's the attitude,
madness, because the BJP,
I don't know what's going to happen.
When somebody is upset, the Prime Minister himself is calling. Amit Shah, Nadda would not let anybody leave. They will do whatever they can to keep, they say, कार्यकर्ता बनाने में कई साल लगते हैं. You can't let your man leave. You have to find a way, Rajiv Desai, of keeping your guy on your side. And here it seems that Sachin Pilot wants to push this battle royale in the desert to a climax. Do you think he'll set up his own party? Is that more likely? Could he join the Aam Aadmi Party? Is that at all possible in your view? Or are you hoping that the Congress will find some way of resolving the situation?
I have absolutely no way to answer that question. But what I can say what I can see. And what I can see is that every now and then the media and the BJP make a huge big issue about dissent in the Congress, some personality issues and so forth. And and meanwhile ignore some of the real things that are going on. For example, right now, while you're doing this show of internal dissent in a party that is that does not enjoy the kind of clout that it did, there is a whole issue going on, and there's a dissent in the BJP in the Karnataka. There's the Bathinda issue, which you yourself brought up. The IMF has reported that economic growth has slipped very badly, and China is sitting on several thousand square miles of your land. There's a problem with Pakistan. I would think that these are the issues to
No, but
discuss,
you can't decide
not
my
some
order.
petty quarrel
This show
between two
is
chieftains.
discussing the desert storm in Rajasthan. We've had a separate show where we looked at Bathinda whole day. Our coverage has been on Bathinda.
No, I don't.
I think Rajdeep's show is on Karnataka. So all those stories are being covered. You can't come in and start telling us what to do.
I am not making the point, Rahul.
Yes.
I am not. Why not? You are doing the same thing to the Congress. I will tell you as a journalist and as a teacher of journalism that you must look at the larger issues. You can't just go, everybody just focus on one dissenting thing or the other that keeps happening in the Congress. Why don't you address the question of Bathinda? Why don't you address the question of economic growth? It's always this.
Okay.